What's up, you guys? It's Jonno! Today I've got a two-part video. I'm going to show you how to connect your Nintendo Switch to Pokemon Go and how to get a mystery box. Alright, a lot of people have been wondering that. It's actually kind of hard to get connected for the first time, especially when you're connecting to a friend's phone. So we're going to cover some pitfalls there, and we're going to cover how to get the most out of your mystery box, how to get the most Meltan candies and maximize every mystery box, okay? This is a pretty simple video, and I noticed that the biggest problem that a lot of people were having with this game is this menu right here. It's not really clear that you have to go through this step before you can sync your Pokemon Go to your Let's Go. It's actually really critical that you do this first step. Alright, so you have to go to your menu, as I showed, and go through the pairing in your Let's Go menu. If you don't go to that step, you will never get paired. And I actually saw live streamers, including myself, sit for like 20 minutes and try to figure this out, and it's not abundantly clear. So that's why I decided to put this on the video. But the main point is to make sure you guys know how to maximize your Meltan candies after you get through these steps. So on the screen here is me trying to trade myself an exclusive Pokemon. Make sure when you guys do that trade with your friend or with your own Pokemon Go account that you get an exclusive Pokemon that is not available in your Let's Go Pikachu or your Let's Go Eevee. I went ahead and got an Arbok because that's the one that I cannot get. Alright, I had some people give me Tangela, I had some people give me Hypno, different stuff like that. There are some exclusive Pokemon that you want to be aware of. Now, once you get that initial connection done, you still have to go through the Go Park connection, which is the one that you're probably used to using. Once you get that first connection done, you never have to do it again, which is why it's so confusing. A lot of people don't remember that step, and then you go and try to connect to your friend's account, and it simply won't connect. It just keeps on spinning and spinning and spinning and never ever connects. It's kind of a big deal because you could sit there forever and it won't work, and it never tells you that you're doing it wrong and you need to do it a different way. So for those of you that may have gotten stuck like I did, go ahead and post up in the comments if you found this helpful whatsoever. I'm sure some people did get stuck and ended up clicking this video. Now, for most of you, you're probably wondering, how do I maximize my Meltan candies? It's fairly easy, but the mystery box acts a lot like an incense, and most people won't know that. The maximum number of spawns that you can get from your mystery box is 10 spawns. Now, I only got 7 when I did the mystery box. I actually did not maximize my mystery box because I didn't know how to maximize it at that time. I didn't know that if you walk, you will get more spawns just like an incense. So that's your first tip to maximize your Meltan mystery box. You want to make sure that you get all 10 of those Meltan. It's pretty important. Try to open the box when you can walk around. It has been confirmed that you will get more spawns when you walk, and 10 is the max. I got 7 without walking, so not really that big of a deal, but you can get a lot of candies off of every single Meltan, so you don't want to miss out on one Meltan. That could be a lot of candies. Now, what is the max number of candies that you can get from every single Meltan catch? Obviously, you're going to want to Pineapple those Meltan. You can see there, I got 6 candies for that Meltan. Now, some people were saying, transfer the Meltan, and there you go, you got 7 candies. That's a lot of candies, right? Well, there is a better way to get more candies than simply transferring your mythical Pokemon. Many people are under the impression that you cannot trade this Pokemon because it's a mythical Pokemon, and it says right on the trade screen that you cannot trade mythical Pokemon. So some people are wondering, is Meltan really a mythical Pokemon? Because in fact, you can trade Meltan. What? Yes, you can trade Meltan. You can put Meltan into a trade. That's crazy. That means you can get lucky Meltan, and you can also get maximum trade candies for trading Meltan, which is 3 candies, which is more than transferring for the 1 candy. So yes, you are going to want to trade those Meltan to anybody. I'm sure there's a ton of people who would give you anything for a Meltan. So go ahead and trade it, and then you're going to be able to get those 3 candies. You just have to make sure that you do the maximum trade distance. If you do not do the maximum trade distance, well, default, you're not going to get those 3 candies, and you may as well have just transferred it, because you do have to spend quite a bit of Stardust on those special trades, especially if that other person does not have a Meltan already. So that's kind of a big deal. You're going to have to decide if you want to trade that Meltan. If they're not your ultra or best friend, it might cost you a lot of Stardust. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal. I made sure to get a mystery box on this account before I gave it the trade, because it was actually going to cost me about 40,000 to do the trade as a best friend, which is still way too much. But once I gave this account the mystery box, well, it was no problem. Then I could trade them for a very small amount of Stardust. We are going to see that trade in just a second once I finish up catching a bunch of these guys. Now, you do need 400 candies to evolve your Meltan, and it's going to take you a ton of mystery boxes to get those candies. So maximizing each and every mystery box is a really big deal. It's also worth noting that the mystery box is a permanent item in your inventory. It will never go away. I don't know if it takes an inventory space or not. However, when you click on the box and you don't currently have a box, it will tell you the number of days until your next box. So that's another tip to maximize every single box. You want to maximize the number of days it takes you to get a box. You don't want to be waiting 2 or 3 days after you're eligible for a box until you do the box, because that's just days that you'll be missing out. So make sure that you check on your mystery box in your item screen. Know what day you're going to be available to get a new mystery box, and try to plan with your friends or with yourself if you have a Nintendo Switch to get that box on the day that you're available to get it. It's a pretty big deal because you don't want to waste that time. Now, as you guys can see, it was only 800 Stardust to make this trade. I did the trade with one of my friendship eggs, or actually it was a 5K egg that I got from South Lake Tahoe. I've been saving that for quite a while, needed to hatch it because of the event that's going on right now. So I got that thing hatched, and because it had good distance on it, I traded it for the Meltan. That gives me the 3 candies. Now, those candies were on Wifey's account because she's the one who traded the Meltan. I didn't want to send her a Meltan because she probably won't use it, so I sent her over something else instead, just to make sure that I get that distance. And plus, if we would have traded Meltan for Meltan, we would not have got the distance because we caught the Meltans in basically the same location. So make sure that you do that trade for something that is not going to give you the smallest distance possible. You want to get that maximum distance possible. Now, a Meltan trade, as you saw there, is a special trade. It says in the trade window that you cannot even complete that trade because Meltan is a mythical Pokemon. Again, some people are wondering, is Meltan a mythical Pokemon? Is it just totally like a joke? Is it something like they're going to reveal to us later that it's not a mythical? It's obviously the first mythical that has ever evolved. Mythical Pokemon don't evolve. Legendary Pokemon, for the most part, don't evolve either. So, kind of strange. People are curious. Is this a mistake from Pokemon Go? Or is this something different? Is this just like a story feature? Are they, going to add to this story later on with some kind of a plot twist? People don't know. At this point, the story around Meltan is still developing. Now, you guys, I do want to mention a couple more things before we wrap up this video because this stuff is interesting. You cannot get the evolved Meltan on Pokemon Let's Go unless you evolve it in Pokemon Go with the 400 candies and then transfer it over to Pokemon Let's Go. I have been trying to evolve my Meltan in Pokemon Let's Go, and eventually people told me it's not possible, just give up. I figured I would probably get to level 100 Meltan before I figure it out, but people just told me instead that I don't need to worry about it. So yes, you cannot evolve your Meltan in Pokemon Let's Go. You must spend the 400 candies over in Pokemon Go and then transfer it over to Pokemon Let's Go. Kind of an interesting choice there, but it's kind of like they're getting you to play Pokemon Let's Go using Pokemon Go, and they're actually getting you to play Pokemon Go using Pokemon Let's Go. So it goes both directions. They're actually trying to get you to engage with both games equally, which I find to be pretty interesting. Now, before we wrap up, you guys, I just want to ask you a quick question. Do you have a Meltan yet? How do you plan to get yourself a Meltan if you don't have one? Are you guys using local Facebook groups or local Discords to coordinate with people who have Switches and do local meetups or something like that? I actually did a local meetup last night in Sacramento and gave out these mystery boxes to as many players as wanted them, which was a few players who were in the park, and they were very, very happy to receive one because it is quite hard to get one of these mystery boxes, as I'm sure you guys already know. So let me know in the comments, have you guys come up with any special way to get a mystery box? Are you just letting your friend who has a Switch log into your account and do it for you? What are you guys doing? I'm very curious. Let me know in the comments if you have even got a mystery box, or if you haven't got one, just let me know in the comments if you have never even got one and you're just trying to get that Meltan through the special research. Also, it is worth noting that you can get a lucky Meltan. I have seen it on Twitter. Pogo Dad got one. Big shout out to Pogo Dad. He got the lucky Meltan. It was 100%. Can't even believe it. The guy's super lucky. So big shout out to Pogo Dad before we end the video. Alright, you guys, that's going to be the end for this video. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to my amazing subscribers, and peace!